And we are back with Valpo versus Vanderbilt University, NECC League of Legends last week of the NECC regular season. My name is Henry, Speedy Kill Ninja, and today I'm with.
Adam once here. It's good to be back with you, Beacons. I know it's been a little bit of a while since we had our last stream. We've been gone for the past 2 weeks on spring break, but the Valpo team, specifically the league team, is ready and raring to go for our final game here in the regular season. And with that being said, we're going to take a quick look into the pick and bans for this first game between Valpo and Vanderbilt. We're going to see that Valpo is going to be banning the Kane, the Lux, and the Xin Zhao, while Vanderbilt is going to respond with the Talia, Skarner, and Jarvan the Fourth bans. Talia's been a really strong pick by Jakimbo recently, so decent scouting by Vanderbilt. Skarner just extremely strong in general, just really just a champion you don't really want to see on either team that you're facing off against. And then Jarvan the Fourth, obviously, one of Super Rare's big picks that he's been for the team
Yep.
recently.
And we were talking about it before we started the stream. Darius extremely strong in the meta right now. Can be played in the jungle or in the top lane. So really excited to see Darius. Based off of Valpo's tendencies, I'm gonna guess that it's in the top lane. Just based off of our champ pool and things like that. But I believe he's actually like listed like in op.gg as like OP in the jungle role and then like tier one and top. So I mean, wherever you put him, he's gonna be strong. Volibear, another kind of top jungle flex, although much weaker. So a couple flex picks to start us off. Valpo going to be picking up that Sivir. Really strong late game ADC, just going to have Diadem farming up and getting going. Not sure if we said it, but Valpo is 3-3 heading into this game with a lot of playoff connotations on the line for whether they can qualify or not. And then additionally, Vanderbilt is 2-2. Got a couple games, more games this week for them. But once again, they're also going to be trying to make that last push to qualify for playoffs. So should be a very close and important and exciting matchup today.
And I was gonna say that's what always makes these games so nice and interesting. Is both teams, this is for both teams genuinely. This is a make or break game for Valpo. It is the make or break game for Vanderbilt. There is a little bit more. There's a little bit more safety as they do have 2 more games to still play. But again, you are playing 3 best of 3 games this week, and all of you league fans know that best of three series can usually take between 2 and 2.5, 3 hours. So a lot of league time going to be allotted for both of these teams this week, especially if Valpo is able to come out victorious on this one. We are going to see the brand, or we are going to see the Alistar pick by the law here. Again, just going to be a really good pair into that Sivir, just going to be able to CC, knock away, and just kind of keep Sivir from getting, keep Diadem from getting a lot of damage from getting a lot of damage.
Yeah, so Valpo started off the season, I believe, was either 0-3 or 1-3, and since then has been on a bit of a winning streak. I think just playing a lot better, and then also just the way like the schedule was laid out, a lot of strength in the front end, but ultimately have been able to be resilient and have a chance of making playoffs today. They picked up a win last week over spring break, had a 2-0 win over somebody in the NECC. But playing in this strong division in the NECC as well as C-Law have just faced a lot of really tough opponents that you might not see in some of the lower divisions in the NECC. So being at 500 is definitely commendable. Because if they were in one of those lower divisions, would be able to that's why they're in the division they are. It's a higher division. They're a strong team, and they've been playing really well recently. And what's nice is, with a lot of teams coming off spring break, they might be a little bit out of rhythm, a little bit rusty. But for Valpo, they were practicing last week, had a game last week over spring break, so they've definitely been taking it really seriously and trying to make this final push for playoffs.
I was gonna say that final push is going to be was going to be seen just in the brevity of games that they've been playing and kind of the new strategies that Valpo has been kind of creating, especially with Darius Jungle being so strong recently. Regardless to say whether or not that Darius of Valpo's is going to go either way. But in response to this, kind of as everything was waiting out, we are going to see the final pick and bans kind of get chosen for both sides. Vanderbilt is going to be responding with the Syndra Aurora. Again, both really good picks. So kind of taking Aurora that flex pick, but Darius was kind of a flex pick. so it could be a potential partial ban waste. Then we're going to see Valpo's, and we're going to see that Riven and the Kennen. Again, just both good champions to get out of the way. And from Vanderbilt, we're going to see the mid pick of the Ari, and then Valpo will be responding with the Oriana, and then rounding out their picks with the Jax top side. So I do believe that that all means Jax will be in the top lane and Darius will be in the jungle, and Vanderbilt will respond with the Mbessa.
Oof. That's all I can say. Oof. Bessa, very tough champion to play. When this champion first came out, when you're watching Arcane, did not expect to have this many dashes. But tough champ to play against, something a bit newer. But I'm really shocked by Valpo's um, kind of draft here. I haven't really been on top of the Valpo League of Legends in the past 2 weeks, and they're really have kind of transitioned into the new meta pretty well. I mean, they seem confident in their picks. A lot of surprises, I guess, for me outside of the bot lane. I mean, Oriana is something that Jimbo can play really well, but not a pick we typically see in comp. The Jax Darius, I'm sure you know what you're talking about with the top and jungle, but I have no idea who's going where. Um, but yeah, should be an interesting draft. Both teams have a bit of scaling. That Jackson Siver for Valpo will scale really nicely as well to Ezreal for Vanderbilt. But also some early agency. We might see that Alistair roaming. Darius can be really strong in the early game if he can get those stacks on the ganks. That's really going to be the key though. I think in this game is going to be that jungle Darius. If they're able to get onto those lane opponents, you see a lot of mobility from the Ambessa, the Ari once they hit six, the Ezreal. Just a lot of safer picks, and they're going to really need some good gank setup to be able to pull that off because that's the tricky thing about the Darius jungle is all they can really do is run at you um, as fast as they can and hope they can like get an auto range. Yeah, they have a hook, but
That hook is not necessarily the biggest AOE, especially compared to like a volley where you have that movement speed increase into some pretty hard CC and then giving yourself a pretty large amount of shield here. With this being one of Valpo's potentially one of Valpo's last games. This is also going to mean that for a lot of the seniors on the team that this is going to be the final moment to be seeing those here. So we do expect to kind of see. I expect to see a higher level of performance from these seniors, as this is one of their last times playing collegiately that they'll get this opportunity to.
yeah. So the law is oh no, he'll have one more semester, but he is a senior. Um, Diadem's a junior. Jakimbo is a fifth year. Who knows, what we'll see from him next year. We do have Vector, who I do not believe is playing in game one, but is a senior as well. And then Dreadful, also a senior. So, yeah, like you said, very senior heavy team. And, this could be their very last series of collegiate esports at Valpo. This league team has been around for quite a while. So, that's actually crazy to think about. I did not think about that till right now. Um, so definitely that's probably what's pushing them to go that extra mile. Getting those practices that work in over spring break. I know they've been in the lab early warming up today. But with that being said, we will head to a short break for the spectator delay, and we will be right back. And we are back with game one of Valpo versus Vanderbilt University. And one thing I also didn't mention was this is the VU versus VU matchup. So the very rare other VU team. So we'll see how it goes. The battle of the VUs.
So we can say no matter what, that VU will win. There's a 100% VU win rate.
One thing that I really like about the jungle that's always interesting to see is I've always kind of gone with this jungle item, no pot. Get that extra 50 gold. Oh, we will see an early interaction potentially. Okay, just some deep vision. I think that is smart by Vanderbilt not to engage there. Just knowing that Darius can be so scary level 1. Also, thing of note, Super Bear did take that flash on Darius. So in top lane, you'll always see that flash ghost. But in jungle, it's kind of 50-50 depending on what you want to take. The Ambessa has Ignite TP, something to look out for. And then as far as runes, I think everything looks pretty standard. Correct me. Oh, Phase Rush on Darius. That's probably standard, but
Probably standard
I
jungle
just
runes.
yeah, I just don't see the Darius too often. So, but yeah, that Phase Rush does make a lot of sense. Like I was talking about, getting that mobility is huge. Some early poke though on the Valpo's bot lane, not going to be ideal. What do you think is kind of the thing to watch here in this match? Lane to watch?
I mean, I'm always down to say the mid lane, because we've seen enough of the program knows enough about how Jakimbo works that it's always going to be an interesting time for him. I do think that definitely nothing to, as always, nothing to not say about bot lane. As Diadem and the Lot both have really good synergy. We are going to see though that Vanderbilt is going to get level 2 here.
Yeah, this poke is brutal. Israel, someone you don't necessarily think of a lane bully, but paired with the brand. Tough.
And especially once Brand hits level 3, and is able to start once he gets his procs of rocking 2 abilities at once, and you just do that max health percent. Just does a lot.
Did have that ward on Raptors, so Vanderbilt was able to spot out Super Bear on those Raptors, so we'll know where he's pathing. But Super Bear is quite far ahead in this early clear. Someone who you don't traditionally see in the jungle role, being able to kill those monsters quick. He's about to camp ahead, so we'll have that early first hit to lane in this bot lane. But do have that tri-brush warded, and do have bot power to Vanderbilt, so this bot scuttle might have to be given.
I was going to say, or as I say, we're also going to be very interested to see if there's going to be a potential grub fight, or not a grub fight, a scuttle fight, because those love to happen.
Bot and mid have power for Vanderbilt, so it could be scary. Actually, it looks like Valpo is getting the push off, so should be able to get that scuttle while he's conceding it, going to top scuttle. This is the issue with me being a jungler, is my brain is just thinking of all these different things and just moving faster than my mouth. But for me, what I think, to watch here, my favorite lane to watch is actually top lane, mostly because I think Jakimbo plays passive at times, where Dreadful does not play passive, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. But this will be trouble for Dreadful here in the top lane. The flash not going to help him too much. Will have TP to get back to lane, but unfortunately going to miss a wave there. But what I'm really excited for this game is just to see how the Darius jungle does, is we will see that TP on respawn from Dreadful, and we have Super Bear walking up in the top lane as this fight is also breaking out in the bot lane. A lot going on right now. Exhaust goes out. Ezreal dropping low. Alistair able to get the headbutt away. They will get the trade, but ADC versus support now. Got to be careful of that. Brand, though, could do a lot of damage. Does have his combo up now. Misses the stun, and that barrier goes out, and Diadem able to get the double kill. And did also see that Ambessa die top lane. Was it an execute?
It does look like it.
Yeah, it was an execute. Yeah, I was wondering, because I was like, something was happening in that top lane. I just couldn't figure out what was going on. But yeah, smart to get that execute, and that wave is bounces, so they're not actually going to miss anything from it.
And Jakimbo's going to try to get the Ari, but not going to have enough damage right now, but is going to allow Jakimbo to push this wave in, giving them the priority, as we're going to see that both Dragon and Grubs are going to be available.
Yeah, and that dive we saw from Volibear is probably not going to be the first time we see it, especially when that Volibear hits 6, can just turn off that tower. So something to watch out for. The Law able to get this shove in for the bot lane. And do have Brand actually working his way up to top lane, so is able to get that ward and could be a big time waste here for Vanderbilt's support.
And it doesn't seem like that Brand is going to be not going to be on vision quite yet. Dreadful doing some damage, but Mbessa is going to get that shield, which is going to make her slightly stronger. And since she is going to hit level 6, Dreadful does need to play careful here to not get ultimated from the Mbessa.
And Valpo posturing for this dragon, like we saw Vanderbilt set the Brand up. So we'll be doing a trade dragon for grubs.
And we are gonna see the something to also point out was just the you said it, but the realization of that both of those kills on bot lane did go towards the side of Diadem, which means that he was able to pick up a BF sword and boots on his first back.
And we will see another dive in this top lane. Volibear is not going to be level 6 though, so it's going to be doable, but near impossible here. Does have the dodge come out. Brand is tanking, that Mbessa ult will do it. So nice play from Vanderbilt, and Dreadful. Just got to keep your head together. I mean, this is brutal. And hopefully Valpo will respond with a dive of their own, but Ezreal is clearing this wave quick. Should be no problem for Valpo as they do get the headbutt. A bit of a late start for the Darius, and this is getting a little messy here. Ezreal does get 6. Oh, yeah, this is bad. That drain might do it, but with those pots running, I don't think actually will. And that was disaster for Valpo. So I believe miscommunication between the Law and Super Bear. Super Bear was finishing up that Gromp, and the Law went in while Super Bear was just not in range. So not necessarily either person's fault. They just got to be on the same page there.
Yeah, you just got to tighten it up a little bit, but Valpo is going to just need to shake this one off again. It's a failed play, good opportunity, good attempt here, but you can't. It's already too late to start thinking about what you could have done better. All you need to know is just not repeat that same mistake and to just get into this next objective as if you're going to be safe. We're going to see that Kimbo is going to get charmed, and Brand is going to be doing a lot of damage, and I think just the Kimbo will say goodbye, unfortunately.
Hate to see the flash on death as well. Do appreciate the follow there. Thank you for the support. Tesla Enjoyer 47.
Thank you for the follow.
I actually did drive a Tesla over spring break. Fun fact.
How did it feel?
At the car itself, Tesla, great car. No further comment on anything else regarding Tesla, but I did enjoy driving the car.
That is,
or rather, lack thereof driving.
Okay, that is fair.
Self-driving, yeah, it was pretty cool. But anyways, Valpo going to be in a bit of a hole, down 2k gold here. Mostly a lot of it is just, this top lane's actually not as far behind as I thought they would be, considering 2 dives with those stacked waves, but is going to be down about 800 gold. Jungle going to be down 300. Mid lane going to be down about 100, 200, and bot lane going to be ahead for Valpo, and then the support going to be a pretty significant lead with 2 kills on that Brand. But the Volibear is going to show up at the worst time, but counter gank could be huge. Going to have a potential 4v4 breaking out, but it looks like it will just be a clean 1-for-0. So that could have been scary. Oh, Volibear is going to face check this. Does he get the hook?
Super is going to get the hook. We are going to see that Volibear is going to ult in response. Not necessarily, again, Valpo would have preferred to kill, but getting rid of the jungler ultimate is always a nice thing to see.
Yeah, would way rather see that ult used defensively than offensively.
Well, we are going to see that Kimbo is going to get caught by that combo, going to lose about 35% of his health.
Yeah. I mean, I think anytime you land a charm on Ahri, it's just going to do so much damage with that electrocute. That ignite going to go off for the Mbessa. Does have ultimate available too, so got to be careful here. Dreadful will fully back off though.
Oh, we are going to see that Diadem. Oh, we are going to see that potential Super Bear is going to be near. The Law is going to try to land a knockup here. Diadem is going to get another kill onto himself. A very clean play by Valpo there.
Mbessa going to get this proxy off in the top lane and just going to be able to back off. We'll see if Kimbo is going to get there in time, but actually just going to miss out on some minions and XP in the mid lane.
Good attempt by Jakimbo, but you just got to keep going back to the lane. We are going to see, taking a quick look at CS as it is right around 10 minutes. Keep in mind for all laners, you should be always looking for around 100 CS at these moments. Top lane, you are down about 16. Again, kind of to be expected between the Mbessa Jax matchup.
Yeah, do you have a
And
potential dive going off here? But are going to have the second rotation of objectives come up, so Grub's being given over right now to Vanderbilt with that brand swapping down. Would like to see another attempt at that dive, but Valpo going to back off, but going to have this dragon spawning in 30 seconds. Going to be tough to fight, but, you know, if they're able to get the timing right, and Vanderbilt's not going to be off back here, we'll see what ends up happening here, but this could be a huge momentum swinging fight for game one at this second dragon.
so we are going to see that Vanderbilt is going to be up their full 6 scrubs, but Valpo does now have the opportunity to get 2 dragons here, and we are going to see that it does look like that. We are going to see that Sivir is going to be at full first item here with Yanti's Wild Arrows, needing a little bit of time to get online with that stacking. But it is going to be a 4v4. Mbessa does have teleport, but Dreadful does not, so Valpo need to be careful here. We're going to get the hit on the Ahri. Ahri is going to force to use her ultimate. We're going to see that Volley's going to be taking a lot of damage, and Volley is going to fall. Unfortunately, the kill going to the Alistar here.
Yeah, and this kiting, a lot of damage out for Vanderbilt. Oh, and the law does go down, so far 1-for-1. It was unfortunate Darius did not get the reset on his ult there, hence why Alistair got the kill, but also didn't have that reset for, you know, more in the fight. But we'll have a bit of trading. Dreadful's got to be so careful with these trades just because Mbessa, like, feels like half the time in trades just doesn't take damage with the shields.
Yeah, that W shield can be extremely oppressive at times. We are going to see the TP come out by Jakimbo in the bot lane, trying to look for something here. Is going to be able to dodge the Q. Going to throw out Q of his own, but not going to be able to find anything. So it does look like that Valpo is going to rotate the lane. However, Mbessa is going to get this first tower here, which does mean that feats are going to go to the side of Vanderbilt for game 1 of this best of 3 series.
Yeah, this feed's going to be huge for Vanderbilt. So do have that 4K gold lead, but along with the feats is just going to be so much value. But this dragon going to be super huge once again, as we're likely going to see a fight break out. Valpo definitely a disadvantage, as we do have Diadem kind of sectioned off from the team here. Do have a TP come in. This is going to be a 4v5, and this could be very scary for Valpo.
Valpo is going to nearly find the Volley Bear. Volley Bear is going to fall. Law need to be careful as Diadem and the Law and Super Bear are all extremely low. We're going to see the ult does come out by the Mbessa. Is going to find Super Bear here. Law is going to dive due to the Ignite. A lot of damage coming out by the Mbessa. Jakimbo trying to get away here. That's slow. Going to be able to do some work. Don't know if it's going to be enough. And she's going to be low, but Jakimbo does not have ultimate, so not going to be able to find anything. Flash being used by Jakimbo here. Ahri is going to also be extremely low, but not going to get found. Brand doing a lot of damage, but doesn't have his first item yet. And I think Jakimbo is going to get away, but that did cost both teams a lot of resources in that fight.
Yeah, I think the team fight was well played by Valpo, but it strictly kind of just came to a numbers advantage and a positional disadvantage. So they had Diadem kind of sectioned off in that mid lane, and, you know, he's their main damage source in these fights. You know, has the only full item in that fight, and then also the Jax TP was down from having a TP back to lane earlier. So, I mean, just in that 5v3.5 kind of scenario, I mean, it's just always not going to go in your favor. Not to mention, I mean, when you're down gold as well. So, gonna be a critical moment in the game there that goes Vanderbilt's way, but still, you know, in winnable territory for Valpo. Do have a bit of scaling from the Sivir. Just kind of some crazy wombo team fight potential from the Orianna, and then also Darius. You know, if Darius can get hot in a team fight, you know, can easily just start getting those resets. But definitely Valpo going to be on the back foot here. The Yomu's Ghostblade and the Swifties from Darius. I mean, he's about to be moving.
Even looking here, he's already moving, and we are going to see that the dragon is going to be infernal, which does mean that embers will be available. So a little bit extra bursts of movement speed themselves when you pick them up, and then start giving a little bit of adaptive force.
Yeah. And the blue jungle item. Darius is going to be flying. Yeah, so much for low mobility. If anything, I'm more worried about like the tankiness and not getting one shot. 'Cause, yeah, look at him go.
Yeah, Darius is running like a man on a mission. And we are going to see that Dreadful is going to still be responding to the Ambessa here, going to do some damage, but actually not much, as that shield is going to be relatively tanky, and just kind of negating a lot of these quicker trades that Jax is looking at to start with.
Yeah, and it feels like Vanderbilt is just still going after Dreadful here. So they got 3 people in this bot lane and are preparing for a dive, and Super Bear, looks like he might have the read. We'll see if he ends up backing or not. Sometimes, oh, this is not good. Oh, no. Just unfortunate face check for Super Bear. I mean, in his defense, why would they be there? If I were, I would. There's not really any like logical reason or anything given it away. That's just the issue with not having vision. You just don't know. But Volibear, having to use ult defensively here. Looks like they're looking for a play. Did get Jakimbo to TP over to the mid lane there. But yeah, I mean this. Oh, was that the ult there?
Ambessa is going to miss her ultimate. Oh, that shield is going. That shield is going to save her from taking any real damage. Once again, Ambessa being a really strong pick overall. And kind of just showing why Ambessa, even after her release, has kind of just been a really big mainstay, either on the side of Valpo, on the side of an enemy team, or on the pick and ban receivers.
I will say in Dreadful's defense, not a great matchup whatsoever. With that dodge being the big mechanic for Jax, Ambessa doesn't really use many auto attacks. Additionally, I mean, Vanderbilt's whole entire game plan was to just get the Jax behind and keep him there. We'll get the flash away, gonna miss that charm, so no harm, no foul, just a couple lost sums there for Valpo. But I mean, if I'm Dreadful right here, I mean, it's just, yes, the Ambessa is doing a lot of damage to the Jackson lane right now, but like, it's not necessarily Dreadful's fault at the same time.
It's more of a champion differential than a.
I think it's also like a well played Vanderbilt versus like a what are we doing Valpo sort of situation too. Trust me, there are plenty of those times too, but I feel like that's more just I just feel for him. I've been playing a lot of top lane recently, and it's just like, man, this kind of feels like my games right now. So life as a top laner. But the one kind of shining hope for Valpo right now, I think, is actually Diadem. Being 3-0-1 on the Sivir, having pretty solid farm, could be a big issue for Vanderbilt just in terms of DPS late game, especially with not having too much of a get on me sort of tool other than like maybe Ambessa, maybe Volibear, Flash Q. But for the most part, I think with the peel available for Valpo, Diadem could be getting a lot of DPS and autos off in team fights. So that could be big, and probably the route of victory for Valpo.
Continuing to feed gold into Diadem. We're actually going to see that Diadem is going to be purely even on CS here. Brands W and E just going to kind of force Diadem to not be as aggressive as he might want to, just because even though it is a support brand, we see that the Leandries is available on brand, which is just going to make Diadem's life a little bit harder.
Yeah, I think honestly the biggest issue for Diadem might just be trying to avoid that poke. Luckily does have that spell shield too. Dreadful getting some work done on this tower. Actually doing a ton of damage to the tower, and they're just going to have to give it. Do have Volibear working his way down here, so hopefully Jax can get out of time and will be able to have a Q to the wave, but it looks like he's going to get caught. So we do see some action heading up in the top lane as well. Do have Orianna using ult. Darius trying to get those stacks up, and Ambessa just keeps dashing around and will fully go for this kill and is going to get the shutdown over to Jakimbo. And miraculously, Dreadful was able to get out in bot lane too. Not really sure how. Has his sums and his ults up, so I don't know how he got out of that one. Mid lane turret will go over to Vanderbilt, and they still do have that Rift Herald available. But looking at these next objectives, are going to have Dragon in 3:30 and Baron in 5 minutes. I saw the blue buff icon and I thought it was a ocean dragon, not a blue buff. But they just took the dragon, so I got really confused. But anyways, Valpo down 4K now. So with that shutdown, have lessened the lead a bit. But what are your kind of thoughts on this game so far? I'll let you take over a bit here.
I was gonna say, genuinely kind of, it's interesting to see the jungle right now. Darius or Super Bear really is kind of, while not maybe having the necessarily best game, there's been a few times where he's face checked in places that again you aren't expecting to see Vanderbilt have 2 or 3 people there. But he also is Valley has not taken this opportunity too well to counter clear. Darius is still up around 5-ish or so camps. We're going to see that Rift Herald is going to be dropped, but it does look like it's just going to crash. But other than that, nothing else is going to happen. We are going to see that Vanderbilt is going to have 4 people up here. Going to start looking at Voracious here. Valpo needing to respond to this relatively soon. Dreadful does have TP up. Ari does as well. So this is going to be a 5v5, and this is going to be another huge momentum.
Yeah. We'll see if they play up or down here. Ari is a bit sectioned off here, and don't believe they have vision on it, though. So Ari could be a scary flank. It looks like Vanderbilt will just go off the Otacon. I believe they were trying to force a fight there, and we do see Ari getting a bit of chunk damage on Jax, but will reveal her position at the same time. I think Valpo here, there's no reason to go, but they are going to get a fight. Going to find the pick onto the brand here. Going to get a shutdown. Oh, and a nice flash. Going to find the stun on the Ezreal. Going to be forced to go out. Do have Orianna and Jax going down. Darius does pick up a kill onto the Volley Bear. Oh,
and that bleed is going to find a Super Bear. Going to continue to go.
Doesn't have the ult reset.
Oh,
does have flash.
Oh, this is probably going to spell. This is probably going to spell goodbye, but that was still a really good play on the side of Valpo there. You were a little bit overly aggressive.
Hesitant.
It was hesitant, but I do believe that it was a net positive. As any shutdowns, I don't know if RA had a shutdown, but I don't think anyone on Valpo's side did.
So I think they lost about 500 to 1,000 gold in that exchange. But it wasn't like a huge net negative, considering there wasn't any objectives that were available to be taken. I guess what I was about to say before that fight broke out was there's no reason to engage here because, they're not like forcing to take the objective or anything. But, the loss saw a pick on the brand. They went for it. And, to be honest, like that was probably the best fight they were going to get as Vanderbilt was a bit split up there. And it looked promising, but just... 3-4, yeah. You know what? It's okay, fine. Not great, not bad. So,
it was a play.
Yeah, it happened.
And again, and it does. And I think that both teams though have realized that you're unable now.
Oh, this is big though.
You're gonna see though that Ari is gonna look for something. Is going to have to Hex Flash. We are gonna see that Ari is gonna pop ultimate. But Valpo needing to be careful as Mbessa is though.
Yeah, they're going to need to respond to that. Jax without TP though, they're going to have to force and make a play here. Mbessa does have TP available, so this is going to be really scary. Valpo making a very risky play here. They're going to be low as well. They do find an engage here. We'll see if they follow up or just try and finish the Otacon. Jakimbo does find a kill on the Ari. Blue team does get the Otacon. That's going to be big, but they're not going to be able to get many of the plants here. And that is a big win for Vanderbilt, as they will pick up the ace here and get the Otacon. Well, they don't get the Otacon, but they get all the stacks from it.
Which is a partial positive for Vanderbilt. If it was ruinous, those false lights would have procced.
That would have been great.
But they are going to get those extra files, which is going to accelerate them a little bit more in terms of gold and adaptive force. And with that, Valpo is going to be at around an 8,000 gold deficit here, as the mid-tier 2 is broken.
Go
ahead.
This might be a stupid question, but do you get anything for last hitting the Flower Otacon?
Yes. The buff that you get from the top, the Flower Otacon, is all of your epic monster rewards are increased by 25%.
Okay, okay. So it wasn't like they just got it for nothing,
Yeah,
essentially.
you don't get it for
Okay.
nothing. You obviously would like to get both, as I believe, I don't know if the flowers are affected by that 25%, but I do know that obviously Dragons and Baron and Elder buff is, but not, I don't think the true execute
There's a
percentage.
lot of flowers though. The ace though, definitely, definitely the big thing though. Is Vanderbilt's up to about an 8K gold lead now. Did pick up that third dragon. In the meantime, Valpo going to have bounties available, going to have this Baron up. But what do you kind of see the path to Valpo getting back into this game at this point?
I was gonna say, I genuinely think it's gonna have to be that Valpo is going to have to like either trade a tower to get a really good play off. So like right here, Um, Valpo is going to be responding with the Ambessa, even though it does look like that they're going to be on Baron.
Yeah,
If they were,
sorry, I keep cutting you off. Or I'm kind of rusty. I 100% agree though. I think Valpo should force a 5v4 and just give up whatever Best is going to get in the bot lane because you're not going to find a pick there. But Darius going for an early play, unfortunately, will get shredded quickly as the only defensive item he has is Dead Man's Plate. But a big Ahri ultimate. Brand going to have the ult over the top. Dreadful coming into the party now, going to have a 5v4 momentarily. Volibear does ulting, going to have Ambessa on the flank here. Does get booted away. Going to have two low members here. Jakimbo able to pick up one.
all right, looking
Oh,
for
and
watching for the RA pickup. Not gonna looks like gonna be able to do. Not gonna be
Diadem
able
was
to.
just kind of split from the team there.
I'm gonna say that that was kind of a weird. That was kind of a little bit of a weird ultimate from the side of Ezreal here. Jakembo gonna try to do something, but not gonna be able to do much here. Is just gonna have to back off here. As again, that's going to be another net positive play for the side of Vanderbilt. Jakimbo trying to run out. Is not going to get caught, but that is going to extend the Vanderbilt lead to just around 11,000. And Valpo, I don't know if even forcing, like, you're going to have to force a good fight onto the Ezreal, I think, for almost any shot. But Jakimbo going to take a huge amount of damage here, is going to fall, and that extra shield from Ambessa gonna be pretty disgusting, as the Bessa is gonna be able to reverse 1v2 here.
Yeah, not to be a negative Nelly or whatever the term is, but
Then Ambessa
this one's
is
starting to look raps. Um, Yeah, I mean, maybe if Darius has more stacks there, could take him down before that ult. I think Darius jungle, though, I really like the pick just because it's entertaining, but it's a very, like, feast or famine pick, I feel like. Like, you either get ahead and just, like, absolutely run the game, or you get behind here, doesn't have many defensive options, really. I mean, went with the offensive boots, a lot of offensive items, and just if you're able to get like poked out or shredded, I mean, you're just not really able to accomplish much in those team fights. And that's kind of just the risk reward with the Darius is, you can get a pentakill or you just get shredded in every team fight. Obviously, Dreadful Jax, when they hit that 3-4 items, can be a super strong force in the side lane, but the Ambessa is just so accelerated. And the Jax was just kind of, bullied in that early game, not really able to get much action. Kimmo and Diadem, in a decent spot, but I mean, compared to the Ezreal, just
yeah,
not
yeah,
not ideal.
the Ezreal has control over the game, and we're kind of just sitting in it. Valpo is going to need, I think, to take a quick moment after this game to debrief about what went wrong and also how to prevent this from happening in game two. Because again, this is a best of 3 series, so the match isn't over until the second Nexus has been broken for either side.
I do feel at this level of play, though, it's more just going to be kind of a slowly like close you out of the game. They're effectively using the Baron buff here, picking up all the inhibs. They're making the smart play here, and at this level of play, I mean, there would have to be several back-to-back catastrophic errors from Vanderbilt for this to be possible, and I just don't foresee that happening.
I unfortunately don't foresee that either, but I remain ever the optimist and hoping, because anything can happen, but it does look like that the 99.9% reality is going to be in front of us here, as Vanderbilt is going to get the final ace, ending this first game, VU versus VU.
Yeah, VU gonna take game one. Oh, still got the Overwatch graphic their title up here.
And as we're working on that real fast, um, Henry, what do you think kind of needs to happen in order for Valpo to kind of give what is kind of a Valpo classic of a reverse sweep?
So I think Vanderbilt came in with a clear plan to play around that top side, to play around the grubs, and they executed it very well. Valpo just, that a couple blunders in the early game. The ones that I'm kind of come to mind specifically were that bot lane dive was pretty brutal, getting that Ezreal ahead. And you saw like if Ezreal can get ahead early game, it can just be dangerous. And then a couple um, of those plays where Brand was roaming around was able to find that kind of charm and that pick in the mid lane too. But a couple of these early plays and they started to snowball, and it really kind of went wayward at that dragon fight in that kind of 5v3.5 scenario I was talking about earlier. But I think Valpo just avoidable errors for sure. Uncharacteristic mistakes, and it's definitely winnable. That game starts to look really bad when you're looking at the graph. You see like 12k gold lead, but it was really just a couple of things that snowballed. And when you're playing a good team, they're going to be able to take those mistakes and really run with them. Um, but yeah, so I think game two, just got to clean some things up. I would like to see them kind of take a step back, more towards like comfortability as well. Nothing against like the Darius pick whatsoever. I think it's just feast or famine, and we see like the J4, the Zach, where are just these picks we've been playing all year long. So when playoffs are kind of on the line here, and like you said earlier, could be the last game for seniors. This might be the time to kind of fall back on old reliable and go out swinging.
All right. Well, in that case, I appreciate your insights, and I believe that we will take a quick break as we get ready for the draft of the second game, Valpo versus Vanderbilt, and we'll catch you in a few minutes. Beacons.
And we are back with game two of Valpo versus Vanderbilt University. Valpo going to be on the red side this time. Going to be picking up that Corky. Taking a look at the bans, they actually will ban out that Siver. So I believe leaving open the Syndra. Was that the third ban in game one?
Oh, it was the
Oh,
Talia
J4 was a
J4.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I would love to see a J4 pick right now. Oh wait.
I think we're seeing Vector in this game.
Yeah, 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 it's going to be Vector. Hence the change up in bands. So Vector going to be summoning Jungle, one of our seniors. Like you said, could be our last set. I believe if we lose, we aren't 100% eliminated. But definitely going to be out of our control at that point. And I think if we win, not like 100% in, but like 99% in is what you said. So,
I believe so. We
oh,
also
we're
have
we're
seen.
taking your word for it.
Okay, so I accept this binding contract as is.
It
And there's Zerath, so I'm like double stuck in my
yeah.
contracts.
Yeah, it feels like a need to win series though, I guess
Yeah,
would be how we would phrase it.
no matter what,
Um,
it's a win would Valpo
oh,
would not be complete with a win.
going to have the Law picking up the Blitzcrank. But yeah, going to have the Maokai being jungle. Much more Vector pick. Once I saw the Maokai, I was like, okay, that Vector's playing right now. Going to ban the Mbessa. Some traumatic experiences in game one, so going to get that banned out. And what I like from Valpo here, going to have that R5 for the top lane or the mid. Um, So actually, that Corky's probably going mid, right?
It could go. I don't know. I don't know how strong Cork
Actually,
is.
I think it's going to be ADC just based off of Jakimbo's champ pool and his play style. Um, see, this is what happens when I miss 2 weeks of Valpo League of Legends and there's a couple patches. Like you just kind of feel out of the loop on stuff. Like I don't know what the game plan is, what we're seeing. So we're kind of experiencing this along with the spectators of like what's happening right now, who's going where. Um,
And I was gonna say normally
Did
I'd
you
be able
play
to.
much over the past 2 weeks?
No, I was I volunteered for the first week. I'm leading one of the Valpo local service trips, and then I took a vacation to Seattle. So I was in the world of rain and hills for the second week. So I also, unfortunately, I'm kind of just as much in the dark as you are. We played some flexes earlier, and I lost a ranked game. But it was just time. It's time to see that we're gonna get just as much of an experience as the viewers are getting tonight, but we're
Yeah,
gonna see those
I played
final picking
some
bands.
TFT.
I wish I enjoyed TFT.
I only play TFT over break because I don't have a PC, so it's like my kind of um like I don't play TFT at all like when I'm working, but like during breaks I'll play TFT like on the iPad. Um
It's time for some more Marvel
so yeah.
Rivals as the decompressor.
And we will see that Syndra pickup. Actually, pretty shocked we didn't see it in the second round of bans, but Jakimbo going to be on Syndra. So um, these are a lot of comfort picks for Valpo, outside of the Corky maybe. But really like to see that Syndra pickup for Jakimbo because he has a very high win percentage on Syndra.
Yeah, absolute monster on that. Absolute monster on Syndra, and for the past, I think for as long as I've ever been on the team, Syndra's been strong, and it's almost always been a picker. It's almost always been a picker band. But we are going to see that Vanderbilt is going to be responding the Oriana of their own. Interesting to see. And we're going to see a hovering of Ornn.
Yeah, Ornn just really strong blind pick top lane. Especially just in like college competitive League of Legends, is just always going to be a good pick. Um, Lane to watch out for so far, I think, is going to be this bot lane. Going to be really exciting to see this Blitzcrank. Unfortunately, going to be up against quite a heavy poke lane. But if you're able to get a hook, I mean, the Jin and Xerath, very squishy, can go down very easily. And will have the Camille. So I actually saw Dreadful playing a Camille game at about 10 this morning. And he was cooking. So has a lot of tank shred, a lot of split pushing ability. So Vanderbilt's going to have to tussle with either responding to the Camille or having the Orange group as five with the team. Um, but going to have a tough time matching that Camille regardless because there's not really anyone on Vanderbilt who can respond. So nice to have kind of this R5 counter pick for the top lane on Valpo's side this time. So I'm not sure. Did Valpo see? I don't believe I joined the lobby soon enough. I was curious. Oh yeah, Valpo lost, so they picked red side. Okay, that makes sense. I was wondering who picked what side. But kind of last final thoughts as we head into this spec delay. What are your kind of lanes to watch? Things you're looking forward to, key things in this game, all of the above.
I definitely think you said it before. I think top lane is just going to be top lane is going to be the really volatile lane. I think because if Maokai is able to get even one or two good ganks, just pushing Camille ahead so far is going to be absolutely huge. However, conversely, um, if a singular the Law Blitzcrank hook at any point in the game doesn't ever matter because Jin getting grabbed at 2 minutes or 25 minutes probably means he's going to die either way. So the law is going to have ensure that Blitzcrank and that the any matches we see with him are gonna be gonna keep us at the edge of our seats the rest of the second game of this best of three
Yep.
series. But with that being said, Valpo fans, we are going to take a quick break as we get ready for this second game for Valpo versus Vanderbilt, 0-1. And we will catch you in a few minutes.
All right, and welcome back to game two of Valpo versus Vanderbilt. Going to try and get this done real quick. Oh, and we're heading to a break. But going ahead to the caster scene real quick. Hopefully looking forward to some shenanigans here. Okay, mouse issue though. They should be back in a second. But could really see some level 1 shenanigans with the Maokai, with the Blitzcrank. So that's why we wanted to get back to this game so quick because um, I think they got to go for it based off of the initial things we see here and are going to get the unpause. It looks like Valpo is going to 5 point. Okay, that's unfortunate. Well, Vanderbilt was actually going to stack here.
In
And
preparation.
so Vanderbilt was ready for it.
And it does look like that. Does look like that. Not too. It is going to be no shenanigans. Level 1. Not yet, at least. And as the client has a little bit of a moment here, taking a quick look at the item spread across both sides, we're going to see that it's pretty much basic all the way up till the very top. We're going to see that Oran's going to be on the Doran's shield, Camille's going to be on the Doran's blade. Again, just build very common items, but not necessarily anything different. Also, a little cool animation on Syndra. I didn't realize that on that skin, her orbs float so far away from her person. Or maybe I just haven't been playing for a while, so.
Let me see what you're talking about over here. Oh,
Or maybe it's a visual
no,
bug.
that's a visual bug.
We call it a gameplay feature.
Yeah, that's definitely a visual bug. I don't play Syndra, but that doesn't look right.
It doesn't look right, but sometimes the extraness is what makes it look cool.
Yep. Taking a look at the runes, at the spells here. Everything's standard so far. We'll have the exhaust from the Xerath, potentially for that kind of Camille, maybe late game, maybe also a Syndra ult. Also going to see a flash from Dreadful. Don't usually point out a flash, but on Camille, typically see that ignite TP. So just going to have some extra mobility, extra safety, extra aggression, but not going to have that ignite to kind of force any early kills.
Which I guess on an Ornn it's not necessarily the worst thing, because again, as soon as if you're not able to get a kill really early, then it's going to be a while. The Law is going to try to look for land a hook, but Jin is going to flash, which is going to be which Valpo will be taking that as a slight positive here.
Yeah, so if he would have got that hook, which without the flash he would have been under turret, even without his knockup, could have been big for Valpo. But honestly, not that bad to get the flash, especially after a pretty big trade, as Blitzcrank's going to be pretty low, but we'll have those biscuits and health pots. Man, this poke is brutal in the bot lane.
We're going to be
a lot of trades going on. The directed cam doesn't know what it wants to do.
Directed Cam is excited to show us a bunch of different angles here. We are going to see that Ornn is going to be able to land a combo onto Camille. It's going to do a lot of damage here. Ornn's mana is going to be about 35%. Dreadful going to take an auto attack hit, but not an enhanced one. Oh, it's some big damage going to go off. None of those actually, I don't believe were brittle procs. So Ornn going to miss out on a decent bit of that damage.
Yeah. Ornn is very good at trading. Does a lot of surprising damage. Where Camille really doesn't really kind of hit that damage point until like level 11, like really later on into the game. So got to be careful for that, as Ornn could actually threaten to kill if you get a bit too impatient. But we'll see the junglers starting to finish up their camps. Vector is going to be slow to this first scuttle, as Zenzao's already going to pick it up. So we'll see what ends up happening there. Looks like Vector should probably just kind of back off and go for that top scuttle if possible. But with that mid lane prio, I was going to say Ori roaming down, going to have to use that flash. Camille going to get a nice trade here. Both out of mana though.
Well, both are so needing to be careful here, as not a lot of things can happen when either Ornn or Camille are out of mana. Dreadful's going to be able to make this wave kind of his own a little bit. A lot of damage going to go out from the Law here. Law not necessarily gonna fall. And
gotta watch out for the W.
The Law keeping us on the edge of our seats.
Yeah, going to miss a big wave though, unfortunately. So we'll see what Vector is going to be up to here. think it's time for Vector to get in the game here and get some action going, but going to get a knock up. Not going to threaten any kills there. Camille going to have to back off. We'll have TP available. And Valpo actually stays here. Okay, Vector is going to get the hover. Hook is down. So I would advise just going for the wave here. Not much kill pressure there. Going to have these first round of objectives go up now. Going to have Grubs in 50 seconds. Drag is going to be live right now. Going to have Cloud Drake as the first Drake. Oh, he TPs into the jungle. I didn't see that.
Oh.
Is able to get out. Very, very, very lucky as Zinzao was one auto away from the knockup, and Ornn could have easily knocked up there as well. With that TP kind of giving you 10 seconds to set up.
Yeah, the new TP changes are interesting. They gave us the ability to teleport back to not just tower, but at what cost?
Yeah, Dreadful really should thank his lucky stars that that didn't go as bad as it should have. Just trying to break this freeze though is not going to be fun.
But we are going to see that Ornn is not going to be able to get the brittle proc.
Okay, they did break it.
As an Ornn player myself, I do feel the non-satisfaction of not being able to proc those stacks. But we are gonna. Ornn is level 6, but again, Ornn's ultimate is not nearly as powerful. Ornn gets his ability. Ornn gets his why he's such a decent character is because of that team fight potential of his ult. Dreadful going to be.
Oh, nice. He was able to hop in front of that pillar and get the little stun thing before Ornn could get the knockup. Valpo will also pick up a dragon in the meantime while Vanderbilt is picking up the grubs. My favorite thing as Ornn is when you get the brittle and the heartsteel stack at the same time. You just clap on him and it just makes like a super loud noise and just does like so much damage. Mist hook here, going to spell a lot of poke though. Blitzcrank going to be still a bit squishy. That 4-shot's going to do a lot. We'll see if the follow-up is here. Oh, dodges the Q, but First Blood going to go over to Xerath. Exhaust goes off, flash away. Oh, and is able to sidestep that W. Does have barrier available. This will likely be a kill for the Jhin, though. So 2 for 1 in the bot lane. Kills going over to Xerath and Jhin.
But one kill goes to the Xerath, not necessarily as bad that you want to see here. Oh, we are gonna see the ultimate though. Is gonna come online from the Jhin. Does look like to probably pick the last bit of that CS down. Orianna is not 100%. She does have a little bit of mana, but Jakimbo does have the resource advantage. It is gonna look to do a lot of damage here. Law is gonna be here in order to kind of assist, but not gonna be able to do much. As Jakimbo himself is low on mana, but Vector is here to assist, and we're gonna see that Jakimbo ultimate is gonna come down to do a lot of damage. Oh, and we're gonna see the amazing play by Jakimbo here, gonna be able to make go 1-0 and bring this game to just about even on gold, down just around 500.
Really well played by Valpo there. Was a little scary there, the Law doing the sidestep thing where he's kind of waiting out for that stun. And you end up kind of zigzagging and just slowing yourself up when they kind of hold on to that CC. I love doing that. You know, when I have like a hook or something, just walk at someone and they just keep trying to sidestep before you actually throw it out. But yeah, Jakimbo with the flash ult on Syndra. Not the flashiest play, but gets the job done.
Sometimes you don't need to have
It's like a Vigar flash ult where it's just gets the job done.
Yeah. And you know what? And for all the people that says it doesn't take skill, you might be right. However, it is still a very fun ability to use, and it's part of the Champions kit. Don't get mad at me. Get mad at the game. At least that's what I. Oh, we're gonna see that. That hook does get found onto Blitz. That flash is going to be used, and that is going to be the feats of warfare on the side of Valpo there. Really good play by the side of Valpo there.
Xerath just posturing very aggressively, going to get picked out there. And I love the confidence by the Law with that flash knockup. Just knowing that Diadem's able to clean that one up.
Oh, Dreadful going to do some damage here. Grass proc going to go off by Ornn. Also, something kind of deceptive. Ornn is not going to get the brittle proc, but that's because he isn't within range of that tower. Something that is kind of interesting to see here, though, is in addition to like all the damage, is that those grass procs start adding up really quickly to that to
Yeah,
the damage
especially
that
when
Ornn
they're
can do.
like constantly trading. I will say Dreadful not in the best CS kind of position, but I think if we do see a fight break out here, gonna have that Orianna ult, and Jakimbo gonna pick up another one with the ultimate, and you just start to see the Jakimbo on the Syndra starting to do work. But we do have Xin flash in. Xin just trying to force a play here, and it is not working out. So Valpo in the driver's seat now, with a actually gonna be down gold right now.
Oh, we're gonna see the ultimate does come off from the Xerath. Not gonna be able to hit anything here.
Why does the director cam show the Xerath and not like where
Where?
he's shooting it? It's okay.
Small indie company.
But anyways, starting to see Jakimbo Syndra going to work. Gonna be doing really well in CS and B2-0 now, so gonna have that shutdown available. Gonna get that Blackfire torch. So gonna start hitting hard.
If you do a lot of damage, we're going to see that Ornn does end up hitting that brittle stack. Dreadful needing to be careful here, as even with Ornn's ultimate plus a good knockup in a brittle stack could spell disaster for Dreadful here. We are going to see, though, that Vanderbilt is going to get the second round of Void Grubs. So Valpo is going to be probably looking to take this dragon in order for them to kind of keep consistent with the feat of objectives. And we're going to see that DDM is just going to DDM is just going to be posturing, just going to kind of be forcing a little bit more damage onto that turret and continuing his CS. Continuing that CS lead, actually. It's 11 minutes. We didn't do it right around 10. But taking a quick look at the CS for both sides, we're going to see that Ornn is up about 10 CS compared to Dreadful. A pretty big CS difference from Zinshao to Maokai there, around 35. 15 on the side of Valpo's mid laners, another 15 in the bot lane, and 15 in the side of the supports. Valpo is going to be able to get Chemtech Dragon, so that is going to be the two dragons for them.
Ooh, another Infernal Soul.
We needed to do a little. We should have done a little gambit on what soul it would have been.
I didn't think about it till they got the dragon.
I didn't think about it either. We've been having a good game so far. There's been stuff for us to think and talk about.
So game starting to slow down now. Not going to be any objectives for about 3-4 minutes here. Once again, top lane, not the lane to watch until about level 11. So hopefully pretty soon. But I mean, just not much going on up here except for just constantly trading back and forth. Oh, we do actually have Xin going in top lane here. And oh, a great Camille ultimate. Going to get the invulnerable. You got to be careful on this trade. Nice flash there. Super well played by Dreadful, but he's got to be able to keep it up because this Xin is still here. We'll see if we get a TPM. Do have Maokai working up there. Is going to have that ult that reached really far. Luckily, Xin is going to back off, though. Super well played by Dreadful, though. And you see that flash coming in handy, actually. Although, if he had the Ignite, maybe he kills Ornn there. So
maybe he kills Ornn, but again, you're still have to...
Probably not.
All I know is he 100% didn't kill. He 100% didn't die. So, and that huge damage. Oh, just barely.
Oh.
It's gonna be a flash for. It's gonna be flash for flash. Gonna be slightly positive technically on the side of Vanderbilt.
What's crazy is I think that Q misses even the flash Q. I think it was gonna miss, but I mean, anyways, we see where Vanderbilt's getting all this gold from, and it's gonna be these turret plates. They've been able to capture a lot of turret plates and keep this game even, but turret plates have now fallen. Hopefully don't give up this first turret.
Valpo needing to be careful here, as this is first the feat of turrets. I always forget what the name of it is.
Yeah.
Oh, we are going to see a 3v3. The Law is going to miss his hook here, but we are going to have Vector and Diadem here. We're going to try to not Vector and Diadem, Vector and Dreadful.
Some nice sidestepping there by Diadem. I'm going to get out of this one with essentially full health. Oh, he's got the moves. Doesn't even have upgraded boots.
and is still just he's just being a little guy, Henry. Oh, and that CC is gonna do, and wow, that damage is gonna be quite a lot. Oh, DNM gonna be taking a lot of damage here. We need to see the moves.
Go back to it.
DNM
Okay,
with the move. But
you.
ouch,
Oh my goodness.
Ouch.
Caster curse. Jeez.
No. I can't be caster cursing us. I gotta be a. Oh.
Oh no! Please don't get
Dodge
hit.
trade. Dodge trade. Oh. Dreadful needing to be careful. Oh no,
Oh.
Dreadful
He's
run.
gotta go for the kill. On that
Oh,
one.
Dreadful run.
Okay.
Oh, we're gonna see that
Flash.
flash does come out.
Oh no! Just a series of unfortunate events for Valpo. And that is going to be first turn, unless if Valpo can pick it up mid lane here. Okay, yeah, no, it's
Not
going
in
to the
time,
top lane.
unfortunately.
That will be feats over to Vanderbilt.
No, wait, there's still no one more objective.
Oh yeah. Okay, so we got the
Defeat of
warfare.
progress, I guess. We got warfare, they got progress. Oh, the law is gonna be here, gonna get stunned, gonna do a lot of damage. Akimbo is gonna find that kill onto the Orianna again. And thank you so much for that follow. As we're gonna see that Vector and Xin Zhao are gonna be fighting. Not too much gonna be happening. I'm assuming that Sindra will need to back for at least a major component of their item here. And just kind of commentating that Xin Zhao did flash earlier.
So Vanderbilt going to have the 2K gold lead now. Going to have 2 dragons over to Valpo, so a bit of uncalculated gold value there. Valpo looks like they're going to be able to pick up this Rift Herald. We'll see if a contest comes through.
I saw from the side of DNM that Void Grub was able to absorb that hit. Oh, big damage going off. Gonna go off onto the Xin Zhao, and Jakimbo fighting the shutdown once again.
They're still going for it.
Or it's a potential 2 members are going to get knocked up. The law is going to get found by the Xerath here. Ornn is taking a lot of damage and not showing too much for it. Dreadful is going to be looking to probably go onto that Xerath. Jakimbo trying to find something. That barrier is going to be thrown by the Jhin. That slow is going to be doing some major work, but not going to be too much.
Oh, nice ult though. Is he able to get out?
Dreadful.
Oh, just doesn't make it out. Vector did make it out of there with a sliver of health. And Diadem was able to pick up a turn in the bot lane. So overall, Valpo does lose that fight 3-2, I believe. But not worst case scenario.
As we said before, as we said last game, it was a play. Not the worst.
Yeah, I mean, they're just
not the
trading back
best.
and forth. So, I mean, the gold looks pretty much the exact same. Go Valpo. Got some Valpo Beacon fans in the chat. Kind of to set the stage for this matchup, Valpo 3-3 heading into this game. Vanderbilt 2-2. This is kind of a must-win game for Valpo to make it to the playoffs. And with the CLOL being over, it could be the last game for some of these seniors. This game right here, I mean, could be the last game. Hopefully, will be several more to come, though.
I also agree that hopefully there will be several more. And I was gonna say it's.
And if we lose this game, what are the odds we make playoffs? More or less than 5%.
I think less, but I was also gonna say the caster cursed of as I just said that he was able to dodge all those and then gets found. Just not say anything. I
want you to give me an exact number.
No. I'm gonna say
gonna see a dragon though.
2.73%, but we are gonna have a lot of action go on here. The numbers aren't gonna matter, as we're gonna see that Jhin is not going to die. A triple knockup by the Ornn, gonna do huge amounts of damage here. Diadem is gonna have to force pop barrier here, and a delayed final blast by the Xerath is going to find it. And that is going to be a 4-0 on the side of Vanderbilt.
Not ideal for Valpo there. Orianna finding a massive ultimate. And this Ornn is kind of like the sleeper carry for Vanderbilt right now. Has just been able to do so much on this team fights. I mean, obviously we saw a 3-man knockup great on that fight. But in the top lane around that Rift Herald, kind of decided to go in very aggressively and just made a great play in the top lane. So that choo-choo train make way.
I was gonna say, and the problem is because he's able to basically just build full armor, and the only one that has magic is Syndra, and even then, Syndra's a lot more of a burst. And
Yeah.
so, because of how much health that Ornn builds, it doesn't even matter that there's not a lot of magic resistance, as Syndra does a lot of damage, but when you're an Ornn with that much health, it doesn't really matter. You can build one magic resistance item, and you'll be just fine. We are going to see that bounties are going to be online for most of Vanderbilt's team here, which does mean that Valpo does have some priorities in some team fights. Mainly right now is going to be that Jhin and that Orianna. Vector is kind of having a little bit of a rough game in terms of his CS, and it's not being made much easier, especially after that last fight that a lot of his entire blue side camps were taken from him.
So a 4K gold lead for Vanderbilt now. Game is still winnable, but it is starting to slip away from Valpo here off of that last fight. So I feel like it's kind of now or never. This next team fight's going to be huge. Do have objective bounties falling now. So Valpo did even it up a little bit there. Must have caused some waves or something. As far as scaling goes, how do you think Valpo's position is? Because I'm looking at the Ornn and I'm kind of scared, but I do see the Syndra and the Corki and that Camille giving me a little bit of hope.
I was gonna say I think probably the exact same way that you were saying that I do think that there's the hope. Oh, having to commit flash here. And you know what? Not even just gonna. I was gonna say.
Has Hex Flash.
Yeah, it's Hex Flash, so it doesn't even matter.
Happy feet. Wombo combo.
Oh. But Blitz prefers that Hex Flash. He can do some pretty crazy things with a good Hex Flash.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, like we said in draft, Camille eventually is going to be unmatchable in these side lanes. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to come until, at least 2.5, 3 items. And maybe like a level 14, 15, 16. But, the only issue with that kind of thought process is Vanderbilt has the Rift Herald and has 6 grubs. So that makes it a little less scary. But yeah, we'll see.
We'll see that Ornn is going to do some big damage to that tier 2 top turret. We're going to be seeing some more items be bought. We're going to see that Jikimbo is going to have a Seeker's Arm Guard available. Looking in preparation, probably for Azania's, but obviously if it can be avoided.
There's no vision here. Oh no, there's no vision here. Oh no. Will this plant help him out? Oh yeah, that'll be a kill there. Nice little bush trap. That's the second time we've seen a Valpo jungler get caught by that. Camille gonna have to give this turret, and with the Rift Herald and 6 grubs, this could be very scary. I feel like Valpo's got to back off in the bot and mid lane now. We do have Corki gonna be able to pick up that tier 1 in mid, but going to get an inhib turret here. And Valpo's staying in these lanes. We'll see if they keep poking and go for some more things. Orianna picks up the kill on Syndra. Ornn takes down Camille. And this could honestly be the end of the game here. Okay, Rift does go down. Oh wait, no he doesn't.
Rift does a smite 270.
Off. Blitzcrank does get the trade kill on his Xin Zhao. That auto doesn't do it, but Maokai able to pick up the shutdown onto the Ornn. Orianna picking up this bot turret. I mean, these 6 grubs are just absolutely decimating these turrets.
They're a huge menace right now.
Did you see that stat earlier, the 6 grubs versus 2 drakes? I think that's fake news.
There's no way.
I went onto that thread and I saw like a 0 through 6 grubs like win rate percentage. If you have 6 grubs, you win like 54% of the time. But if you're in that like exact scenario of 6 grubs versus 2 drakes, then it's like a flawed stat, I think. Like I don't think it's a scam. I don't believe it.
It is soul propaganda. It is Dragon Soul propaganda.
I think grubs are so much better. I mean, you're seeing now why they are, because even when they're down in kills, they had a gold lead, and it came from all those plates they were able to get. But at the end of the day, it's how you're able to use those grubs, and Vanderbilt have been using them really well. And now, Valpo with the first 2 drags, but Vanderbilt able to pick up the 2 infernal drags. Otacon is up. Valpo looked like they were potentially posturing towards it, but backing off now. So going to have the Baron and the Otacon, both massive objectives, going to be in the topside river.
And we are going to see that Vanderbilt is going to probably look to break this tier 2, as that will give them a lot of extra pressure here. That Oriana is going to start finding some hits from the side. Blitz going to do, or not Blitz, Zerath going to do a little bit of damage, but not going to be able to find too much here.
Orm pushing in the bot lane meanwhile.
And Camille forced to respond, but we are going to see that the super minions topside are going to do a lot of work. Jin's ultimate going to be used as a decent zone, and we are going to see that even Maokai is just going to not be able to do much here. Diadem is going to try to get out of this, but there's too many things that are happening all on the screen right now. Akimbo trying to find something, not going to be able to. Dreadful going to be low. Trying to look for something, but not going to be able to. Jakimbo going to get hit by that, and that is going to be the ace. That is the ace from the side of Vanderbilt here. And again, while we love to stay optimists here, we are going to see that the inhibitor turrets are fallen. There's no one that's going to be available for the next 10 seconds. And that does mean that we are going to see that this series is going to go 0-2, Valpo versus Vanderbilt.
It's funny, like all 10 people just disconnected at the end. But anyways, yeah, Vanderbilt picking up the win 2-0, going to improve to 3-2, while Valpo is going to fall to 3-4. We will definitely let you know next time, but I think that might do it for our season. But anyways, it was a pleasure to cast League of Legends with you tonight. It was an exciting series. We'll catch you guys tomorrow for some more video games. Now, coming back from spring break, the schedule and my brain are just... I'm not on top of it. Usually, I can tell you every single game, every single opponent, time, all that, but I haven't been on top of it. But we'll definitely be live a lot this week, so make sure you guys tune in. But I'll do it for tonight. Any kind of final thoughts?
A kind of personal one is this is as I watch, and this is going to be one of the last league games I'm going to be able to get to commentate. Again, depending on what happens with the rest of the teams, you might be seeing more of me in the booth commenting for league.
Oh,
but
I hope so.
It's weird to see. It's weird to see that it's going to be the end
crazy.
of 2 years, as I'm a graduated senior too, and it's
yeah.
Just weird
we've had a lot
it.
of these players for way before I came here, so if this was their last game, definitely hats off to them, and had an incredible run, but yeah, it's just crazy. Kind of just shocked. I got speechless. Don't really have words, but yeah, really proud of this team, what they've done, and hopefully it won't be the last time we see them, but it could be. But yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in, and have a good night.